What's going on, everybody? Hope you're having a great day. I'm James Salvatore, and you've joined me on one of the most beautiful days of this winter here in Connecticut so far. It's like 55 degrees. I don't have to wear the coat. And today I have something pretty fun for you. This is the 2022 Audi SQ5. And in today's video, I'm gonna go over some of the features and then I'm gonna drive it and share my thoughts on it. But before we get into the video, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing. As you can see, I do a lot of cool things on the channel. And if you're a car person, you won't wanna miss out. So with that said, let's get into the video. Sitting at the top of the Q5 range, the 2022 SQ5 starts at $55,800. It features a 3-liter turbocharged V6 producing 349 horsepower and 369 foot-pounds of torque, mated to an 8-speed torque converter transmission. It's good for 0 to 60 in 4.7 seconds and has a top speed of 155 miles an hour. In the city, it'll get 19 miles per gallon, and on the highway, it'll get 24 miles per gallon, with maximum seating of up to 5 passengers, with 25 cubic feet of cargo storage in the rear with the seats up, and 53 cubic feet of cargo storage with the seats down. When it comes to tech, you can see things are pretty straightforward with this car. You have a nice, clear, easy to read virtual gauge cluster. You hit the view button to maximize and minimize the gauges. And then you have these two arrows to switch between the information you could display. You could switch between vehicle information, media, and telephone. You also have the ability to display a full-size map, but unfortunately, since this one just came off the truck, the nav has not been turned on yet. And I really like the infotainment system in this car. Everything's clear and easy to read. They put all your major functions right in front of you right away. And you can see all the icons are very big, so it doesn't really take too much attention away from the road. You can see it kind of almost reminds you of Android. You also get wireless Apple CarPlay, which is really nicely displayed on the screen. It goes across the entire screen. It's not like cut off. And you can see it's nice and fluid. Pretty much what you'd expect out of the average experience in 2022. Moving down below here, you can see the HVAC controls are really nice, clear, easy to read buttons, which I personally prefer. You have drive mode selector there, downhill assist control, and you have a few USB 3.0 ports, and in the glove box you get a USB-C port. And the rear seats are comfortable. There's nice bolstering on the sides of the seats so you don't really get thrown around too much, and there's plenty of headroom. Driving the SQ5, right away, it makes clear to you that it leans definitely more towards the performance side of things than the luxury side of things. And I say that in a good way because you're getting an SQ5 and not just a Q5 because you want something that feels a little special, you know, something different. And I would say that this definitely accomplishes that. Even around town, you know, this feels sporty. You know, you feel things in the road. Not necessarily saying that it's a rough ride, but you definitely feel how, you know, agile. It definitely feels more playful than your average SUV for sure. Steering is nice. You have nice input, you know, like little inputs. You definitely feel it transfers onto the road. There's no dead spot in the middle of the steering like you get with a lot of Mercedes and BMWs right now. I noticed that's a very common thing with them. It feels a little bit numb. This definitely feels like, you know, you're more connected to the road. Like, this is the type of SUV that if you're a car person, you'll actually be satisfied with going spirited driving in this because you could take it on the windy roads and have a good time. Just listen to that. It sounds so cool, and the shifts from the transmission are right there. It's exactly what I'd expect it to be for this tier of performance. It's not dual clutch fast, but this torque converter transmission by all means is definitely enough. And another thing I like is that when you load into the throttle pedal, you can really hear the turbos building up boost, which I find pretty entertaining. Just listen to that exhaust. I really like how everything's so easy to read in this car. A lot of cars that I test, you know, the infotainment systems, it's not like I'm saying that their systems are bad. It's just that, you know, you either have to look down or there's so many different menus to look through before you get to the function you want, or they put the HVAC controls into the infotainment system. I really appreciate how everything that I have to do on the screen in front of me here is just controlled by two buttons, really. The view button here and the arrows. And I like that on the infotainment system, that everything is really clear, easy to read, and that they put the screen in my field of view. I can't stand it when the screen is too low and I'm looking down to do something, because that's that split second that, you know, you could hit something because you're not paying attention. So that's just something I like to point out, because a lot of cars make their systems too complex and too distracting for you to use while you're driving, in my opinion. Not saying that you can't use them, but they're just difficult to use, and you don't even realize how much time you're taking off the road to actually use them. So there's somewhat my thoughts on the SQ5. I would say from a performance-oriented standpoint, you know, if you're a car enthusiast and you're looking for something sporty to drive and you need an SUV, I think that this is a really good fit. It's fun, it sounds good. From a dynamic standpoint, you know, going around turns is satisfying, cornering is satisfying, and, you know, the transmission is responsive. It's not the most powerful, but I think that's okay. It's a very well-balanced package. And the fact that, you know, you get that in a vehicle that's as practical as this, you know, you can take your friends, take your family in it if you need to. You have plenty of room in the trunk to store things. I think that overall is a good value. You're getting all the tech that you need in this car. You're getting wireless Apple CarPlay. The stock software is pretty good. And, you know, everything's very clear, easy to use, and straightforward. So I would say, bottom line, should you buy it or should you pass on it? I would definitely say buy it. I've really enjoyed my time in this, and I think it's a good value for the money. So that sums things up for the SQ5. As you can see, it's a pretty cool car. If you haven't done so yet and you enjoyed the video, help me out by hitting that like button for the YouTube algorithm, and be sure to subscribe and turn on that bell notification so you don't miss out on next week's video. Before I go, I'd like to say a special thanks to my friends down at Audi of Fairfield, Connecticut for making today's video possible. They're an awesome, super helpful, friendly group of people to work with. And if you're in the area, be sure to check them out. I'm going to leave their contact information in the description below so you can do so. With that said, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next video.